I'm Shauna Rappaport here at GreenBiz 17 in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm joined today by Harmit Singh, who is the Chief Financial Officer for Levi, Strauss & Company. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Shauna.
Yeah.
It's great to be here.
So we had a fantastic keynote conversation this morning, sort of setting the tone, but I want to dig a little bit deeper. How do you, as a Chief Financial Officer for such a huge company, how are you thinking about sustainability, both the risks but also the opportunities?
Sure. First let me start by saying I'm lucky to be part of Levi Strauss & Company. We've been around for over 160 years, and as a company, we like to grow profits, but through principle. And what it really means is it's not only important what we make, but how we make it. And I think that's the cornerstone of our belief on sustainability. It started years ago as a risk mitigation strategy. So to your point about risk, it's important to ensure that you mitigate risk, using sustainability as a key, enabler for that. But what it has evolved to today is that it's become part of our DNA. It's in our core fabric of our values, no pun intended. And we as market leaders in the denim space are actually pioneering a lot of initiatives. We pioneered the waterless initiative, which is 96% less water in the manufacturing process. We have pioneered a worker well-being program, which is about driving financial literacy and health education for the workers. We have pioneered some programs in screen chemistry and actually open sourced a bunch of things so that the rest of the industry can join the bandwagon or get on it, et cetera, et cetera. So the way we think about sustainability as a core differentiator, something that over time, is able to, drive value for the different stakeholders in the company. So it's a clear opportunity, but obviously it also helps to mitigate risk over time.
Well, those are some great examples of some initiatives that Levi's has certainly been a pioneer around. Thinking about sort of the GreenBiz audience, particularly a lot of chief sustainability officers and folks working to address sustainability mandates, what would you recommend to them for maybe those who aren't yet deeply engaged with their chief finance officers, or what's the best place to start in building those bridges and connecting the dots around the business case behind prioritizing sustainability?
Sure. I mean, I talk about it as a wonderful pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid is what I call the foundation, which means message to the chief sustainability officers is make sure your practices are truly sustainable, no pun intended again, number one. Number two, you are clearly clearly out there, being in the forefront of your industry. Once you've got solid practices, then the question is about business partnership, and that's where finance comes in. With a chief financial officer, which is, and with other members of the different functional teams, it's important to convert what I call non-believers to believers. And the way you do that is in a couple of ways. Number one is demonstrate that whatever you do creates or makes financial sense and has a good and a solid business case. So, I talked about the waterless program. It not only, grows margin, but is also the right thing for the planet. You are, using less of a scarce resource, which is water. The next piece of it is, how does it drive consumer demand? Is it a win for the consumer or not? And the third is it a win for different stakeholders in the company, whether it's marketing, whether it's our manufacturers. So the first and foremost important thing is creating a good business case. The second is, and this message is for the sustainability officers, make sure working with your CFO, you can demonstrate that this is truly unlocking value for your shareholders and your stakeholders. And the only way it does that is if you engage the consumers, you're engaged the different manufacturers, and at the end of the day, it drives profit through the right principles longer term. And the CFO can be a great ally in a couple of ways. He or she can help set the right tone. He or she can help allocate resources, and he or she can also help communicate whatever you're trying to communicate in the best way.
Those are some really tangible insights. So thank you. I have so many more questions to dig deeper into that, but we gotta wrap up. I have to ask you one personal question, since you are such a walking billboard for Levi's right now. What is your relationship with what does your wardrobe look like? How much diversity is there?
There is a lot of diversity. Yeah, the joke in the family is my wardrobe is larger than my wife's, which is not true. Across a lot of closets in the world, and that's largely because prior to Levi's, and I'm a big believer, the company you work for, you've got to embrace the values. So I have a wide array of Levi's, Dockers, Signature, and Denizen, which are the brands we have. But prior to this, I was with Hyatt. So, suits and formal wear, and prior to that, I was with Yum and Pepsi, so I have a business casual. So, I've got a lot of clothes that I'm lucky enough to wear as and when I can.
Well, you represent it well. Thank you so much for your vision, your leadership, for joining us at GreenBiz. Harmit Singh from Levi's. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shauna. Thanks for having me again.